lost his arm. For many years, I gave a regular series of lectures at the London Truth Forum in Caxton Hall, which I founded a number of years ago. Dr. Evelyn Fleet, the director, told me about a man whose young daughter suffered from both crippling rheumatoid arthritis and the disfiguring and painful skin condition called psoriasis. They tried many treatments, but nothing the doctors did seemed to help. The man was near despair. Over and over he said to himself and to his friends, I would give my right arm to see my daughter cured. According to Dr. Fleet, one day the family was out of a drive. Their car was involved in a head on collision. The father's right arm was torn off at the shoulder. When he came home from the hospital, he discovered that his daughter's arthritis and skin condition had vanished. You must be very careful to give your subconscious only those suggestions that heal, blaze, elevate, and inspire you in all your ways. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't understand a joke, it takes you at your word. How autosuggestion banishes fear. The term autosuggestions means suggesting something defined and specific to oneself. Like any tool, wrongly used it can cause harm, but used properly it can be extremely helpful. Janet R. was a talented young singer. She was invited to try out for an important role in an opera production. She desperately wanted to audition, but she was also terribly apprehensive. 3 times before, when she had sung from directors, she had failed miserably. The reason was fear of failure. She had a wonderful voice, but she had been saying to herself, when the time comes for me to sing, I will sound awful. I will never get the role. They won't like me. They will wonder how I have the never even to try out. I will go, but I know it will be a failure. Her subconscious mind accepted these negative autosuggestions as a request. It proceeded to manifest them and bring them into her experience. Cause was an involuntary autosuggestion. Her fears had become emotionalized and subjectified thoughts that in turn became her reality. The young singer was able to overcome the force of her negative autosuggestions. She accomplished this by countering them with positive autosuggestion. What she did was this: 3 times a day, she went alone into a quiet room. She sat down comfortably in an armchair, relaxed her body, and closed her eyes. She stilled her mind and body as best she could. Physical inertia favors mental passively and renders the mind more receptive to suggestion. To contract the fear suggestion. She repeated to herself, I sing beautifully, I am poised, serene, confident, and calm. At each sitting, she repeated this statement slowly, quietly, and with feeling from 5 to 10 times. She had 3 such sittings during the day and one immediately before going to sleep. After 1 week, she was completely poised and confident. When the fateful day came, she gave a wonderful audition and was cast in the part. How she restored her memory. A woman of 75 had always been proud of her ability to remember. Like everyone, she forgot things now and then, but she paid no attention. However, as she got older, she began to notice these occasions and worry about them. Each time the each time she forgot something, she said to herself, I must be losing my memory because of my age. As a result of this negative autosuggestions, more and more names and events slipped her mind. She was close to despair. Then, fortunately, she realized how she was damaging herself. She resolved to reverse the process. Every time she felt the temptation to think, I am losing my memory, she stopped herself. More than that, she deliberately reversed the procedure. Several times a day, she practiced induced positive autosuggestion. She said to herself, from today onward, my memory is improving in every way. I will always remember whatever I need to know at every moment of time and point of space. The impressions I receive will be clear and definite. I will retain them automatically and easily. Whatever I want to recall will immediately present itself in the correct form in my mind. I am improving repeatedly every day. Very soon, my memory will be better than it has even been before. At the end of 3 weeks, her memory was back to normal. How he overcame a nasty temper. I was consulted by a man whose marriage and career were both in serious trouble. Hugh's problem was his constant irritability and bad temper. He was concerned about this himself, but if anyone tried to discuss it with him, he exploded in anger. He constantly told himself that everyone was picking on him and that he had to defend himself against them. To counter this negative autosuggestion, I advised him to use positive autosuggestion several times a day, morning, noon, and at night. Prior to sleep, he was to repeat to himself, from now on I shall grow more good humored. Joy, happiness, and cheerfulness are now becoming my normal state of mind. Every day I am becoming more and more lovable and understanding. I will be a center of cheer and goodwill to all those around me, infecting them with my good spirits. This happy, joyous, and cheerful mood is now becoming my normal, natural state of mind. I am grateful. After a month, his wife and his co-workers remarked on how much easier he was to get along with. Some comments on heterosuggestion. The term heterosuggestion means suggestions from another person in all ages and in every part of the world. The power of suggestion has played a dominant part in the life and thought of humankind. Political creeds, religious beliefs, and cultural customs all flourish and perpetuate themselves through the power of heterosuggestion. Suggestion can be used as a tool to discipline and control ourselves. However, it can also be used to take control and command over others who have not been taught to understand the laws of mind. In its constructive form, it is wonderful and magnificent. In its negative aspects, it is one of the most destructive of all the response patterns of the mind. Results can be enduring patterns of misery, failure, suffering, sickness, and disaster. Have you accepted any of these? From the day we are born, we are bombarded with negative suggestions, knowing how to counter them. We unconsciously accept them and bring them into being as our experience. Here are some examples of negative suggestion. You can't. You will never amount to anything. You mustn't. You will fail. You haven't got a chance. You are all wrong. It's no use. It's not what you know, but who you know. What's the use? Nobody cares. There's no point in trying so hard. You are too old now. Things are getting worse and worse. Life is an endless grin. You just can't win. Watch out, you will catch a terrible disease. By accepting hater suggestions of this kind, you collaborate in bringing them to pass. As a child, you were helpless when faced with the suggestions of others who were important to you. You did not know any better. The mind, both conscious and unconscious, was a mystery you did not even wonder about. As an adult, however, you are able to make choices. You can use constructive autosuggestion, which is a reconditioning therapy, to change the impression made on you in the past. The first step is to make yourself aware of the hater suggestions that are operating on you. Unexamined, they can create behavior patterns that cause failure in your personal and social life. Constructive autosuggestion can release you from the mass of negative verbal conditioning that might otherwise distort your life pattern, making the development of good habits difficult or even impossible. You can contract negative suggestions. Pick up the paper or turn on the television news. Every day, you hear dozens of stories that could sow the seeds of futility, fear, worry, anxiety, and impending doom. If you accept them and take them in, these thoughts of fear can cause you to lose the will for life. However, once you understand that you do not have to accept them, choices open up for you. You have within you the power to contract all these destructive ideas by giving your subconscious mind constructive auto-suggestions. Check regularly on the negative suggestions that people make to you. You do not have to be at the mercy of destructive hater suggestion. All of us have suffered from it in our childhood, in our teens, and in adulthood. If you look back, you can easily recall how parents, friends, relatives, teachers, and associates contributed in a campaign of negative suggestions. Study the things said to you, closely examine their underlying meaning, and you will discover that many of them were nothing more than a form of propaganda. Its concealed purpose was and is to control you by instilling fear in you. This hater suggestions process goes on in every home, office, factory, and club. You will find that many of the suggestions people make, whether they know it or not, are aimed at making you think, feel, and act as they want you to, in ways that are to their advantage, even if they are destructive to you. How suggestion killed a man? A distant relative of mine went to a celebrated crystal gazer in India and asked the woman to read his future. The seer told him that he had a bad heart. She predicted that he would die at the next new moon. My relative was aghast. He called up everyone in family and told them about the prediction. He met with his lawyer to make sure his will was up to date. When I tried to talk him out of his conviction, he told me that the crystal gazer was known to have amazing occult powers. She could do great good or harm to those she dealt with. He was convinced of the truth of this. As the new moon approached, he became more and more withdrawn. A month before, this man had been happy, healthy, vigorous, and robust. robust. Now he was an invalid. On the predicted date, he suffered a fatal heart attack. He died not knowing he was the cause of his own death. How many of us have heard similar stories and shivered a little at the thought that the world is full of mysterious, uncontrollable forces? Yes, the world is full of forces, but they are neither mysterious nor uncontrollable. My relative killed himself by allowing a powerful suggestion to enter into his subconscious mind. He believed in the crystal gazer's powers, so he accepted her prediction completely. Let us take another look at what happened. Knowing what we do about the way the subconscious mind works, whatever the conscious reasoning mind of a person believes, the subconscious mind will accept and act upon. My relative was in a suggestible state when he went to see the fortunate teller. She gave him a negative suggestion and he accepted it. He became terrified. He constantly ruminated on his conviction that he was going to die at the next new moon. He told everyone about it and he prepared for his end. It was his own fear and expectation of the end, accepted as true by his subconscious mind, that brought about his death. The woman who predicted his death had no more power than the stones and sticks in the field. Her suggestion in itself had no power to create or bring about the end she suggested. If he had known the laws of his mind, he would have completely rejected the negative suggestion and refused to give her words any attention. He could have gone about the business of living with the secure knowledge that he was governed and controlled by his own thoughts and feelings. Prophecy of a seer would have been like a rubber ball thrown at an armored tank. He could have easily neutralized and dissipated her suggestion with no harm to himself. Instead, through lack of awareness and knowledge, he allowed to it to kill him. In themselves, the suggestion of others have no power over you. Whatever power they have, they gain because you give it to them through your own thoughts. You have to give your mental consent. You have to entertain and accept the thoughts at the point it becomes your own thoughts, and your subconscious works to bring in it into experience. Remember, you have the capacity to choose. Choose life, choose love, choose health. The power of an assumed major premise. Since the days of ancient Greece, philosophers and logicians have studied the form of reasoning called a syllogism. Your mind reasons in syllogism. In practical terms, this means that whatever major premises your conscious mind assumes to be true, that determines the conclusion your subconscious mind will come to, no matter what the particular question or problem might be. If your premises are true, the conclusion must be true. For example, every virtue is praiseworthy. Kindness is a virtue. Therefore, kindness is praiseworthy. Or this, all formed things change and pass away. The pyramids of Egypt are formed things. Therefore, the pyramids will change and pass away. The first statement is referred to as the major premise, and the right conclusion must necessarily follow the right premise. A college professor who attended some of my Science of Mind lectures in New York City's town hall came to speak with me afterward. He told me everything in my life is topsy-turvy. I have lost health, wealth, and friends. Everything I touch turns on out wrong. I explained to him that his problems followed logically and directly from his self destructive major premise. To change his life, he had to establish a new major premise in his thinking. He needed to accept as true the conviction that the infinite intelligence of his subconscious mind was guiding, directing, and prospering his spiritually, mentally, and materially. Once he did that, his subconscious mind would automatically direct him wisely in his decisions, heal his body, and restore his mind to peace and tranquility. This professor formulated an overall picture of the way he wanted his life to be. This was his major premise. Infinite intelligence leads and guides me in all my ways. Perfect health is mine, and the law of harmony operates in my mind and body. Beauty, love, peace, and abundance are mine. The principles of right action and divine order govern my entire life. I know my major premise is based on the internal truths of life, and I know, feel, and believe that my subconscious mind responds according to the nature of my conscious mind's thinking. Later, he wrote me the following progress report. I repeated the statements of my major premise slowly, quietly, and lovingly several times a day. I knew that they were sinking deep down into my subconscious mind. I was convinced by the laws of mind that result must follow. I am deeply grateful for the interview you gave me, and I would like to add that all departments of my life are changing of the better. It works. The subconscious does not argue controversially. Your subconscious mind is all wise. It knows the answer to all questions. However, it does not know that it knows. It does not argue with you or talk back to you. It does not say, "You must not impress me with suggestions of that sort." When you say, "I can't do this, I am too old now, I can't meet this obligation, I was born on the wrong side of the tracks, I don't know the right a politician," you are impregnating your subconscious with these negative thoughts. It responds accordingly. You are actually blocking your own good. You are bringing lack, limitation, and frustration into your life. When you set up obstacles, impediments, and delays in your conscious mind, you are denying the wisdom and intelligence resident in your subconscious mind. You are actually saying, in effect, that your subconscious mind can't solve your problem. This leads to mental and emotional congestion, followed by sickness and neurotic tendencies. To realize your desires and overcome your frustration, affirm boldly several times a day. The infinite intelligence that gave me this desire leads, guides, and reveals to me the perfect plan for the unfolding of my desire. I know the deeper wisdom of my subconscious is now responding, and what I feel and calm within is expressed in the without. There is a balance, equilibrium, and equanimity. On the other hand, if you say there is no way out, I am lost, there is no way out of this dilemma, I am stymied and blocked, you will get no answer or response from your subconscious mind. If you want the subconscious to work for you, you have to give it the right request and get its cooperation. It is always working for you. It is controlling your heartbeat and breathing this minute. When you cut your finger, it sets in motion the complex process of healing. Its most fundamental tendency is lifeward. It is forever seeking to take care of you and preserve you. Your subconscious has a mind of its own, but is it accepts your patterns of thoughts and imagery when you look for the answer to a problem. Your subconscious will respond, but it expects you to come to a decision and to a true judgment in your conscious mind. You must acknowledge that the answer is in your subconscious mind. If you say, I don't think there is any way out, I am all mixed up and confused, why don't I get an answer? You are neutralizing your prayer like the soldier marking time. You use up vital energy, but you do not move forward. Still, the wheels of your mind relax, let go, quietly affirm. My subconscious knows the answer. It is responding to me now. I give thanks because I know the infinite intelligence of my subconscious knows all things and it revealing the perfect answer to me now. My real convictions is now setting free the majesty and glory of my subconscious mind. I rejoice that it is so. Review of highlights. Think good and good follows. Think evil and evil follows. You are what you think all day long. Your subconscious mind does not argue with you. It accepts what your subconscious mind decrees. If you say, I can't afford it, your subconscious works to make it true. Select a better thoughts. Decree, I will buy it. I accept it in my mind. You have the power to choose. Choose health and happiness. You can choose to be friendly or you can choose to be unfriendly. Choose to be cooperative, joyous, friendly, and the whole world will respond. This is the best way to develop a wonderful personality. Your conscious mind is the watchman at the gate. Its chief function is to protect your subconscious mind from false impressions. Choose to believe that something good can happen and it happening now. Your greatest power is your capacity to choose. Choose happiness and abundance. The suggestions and statements of others have no power to hurt you. The only power is the movement of your own thoughts. You can choose to reject their thoughts or statements of others and affirm the good. You have the power to choose how you will react. Watch what you say. You have to account for every idle word. Never say, I will fail. I will lose my job. I can't pay the rent. Your subconscious can't take a joke. It brings all these things to pass. Your mind is not evil. No force of nature is evil. It depends how you use the power of nature. Use your mind to bless, heal, and inspire all people everywhere. Never say, I can't overcome that fear by substituting the following. I can do all things through the power of my own subconscious mind. Begin to think from the standpoint of the eternal truths and principles of life and not from the standpoint of fear, ignorance, and superstitions. Do not let others do your thinking for you. Choose your own thoughts and make your own decisions. You are the captain of your soul, subconscious mind, and the master of your fate. Remember, you have the capacity to choose. Choose life, choose love, choose health, choose happiness. Whatever your conscious mind assumes and believes to be true, your subconscious mind will accept and bring to pass. Believe in good fortune, divine guidance, right action, and all the blessing of life.